Hello everybody, and we are back with another Shiny Developer Series live stream. I've had a heck of a day today. Lots of crazy stuff, putting out a couple flyers here and there. Get merge conflicts with a major app that should not have happened, and people not following my instructions, but not that I'm bitter or anything. Anyway, I am happy to be here and work on some cool projects, in particular the ever-going shiny calendar that I'm setting up to hopefully give kind of an easy place for all of you to keep up with all the really great R and data science streamers out there. So we're gonna continue on that journey and see how far we get tonight. We've got a few ideas. Maybe I'm being too ambitious, but we might be able to get something out to more of a public deployment, and we shall see. But we'll get going here. First, let's bring in our awesome chat room. So hello chat, and I see Tame Capri. Hopefully I said that right. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. So we're gonna get right to it and get to my trusty controls here, and we will go to trusty Visual Studio Code for the first bit here. And we'll show what the app looks like at the moment, and kind of I'll talk about where we're going to go from here. So as usual, this app is, for the apps I'm making these days, it is assembled with a Golem package as an R package for the Shiny app. And I'll always get this out of the way once in a while in each stream. At least for me, once you go Golem, you never go back. It has been a game changer for a lot of my work. So let's go ahead and see what the app looks like now. And we're actually, you know, our major win last stream was to get to this point where we've got, with the Toast UI package created by the fine folks at Dreamers, also the author of the very, very powerful Shiny Widgets package and S-Squeeze and many others that I use in my Shiny apps. So they recently put out this Toast UI package, which is a wrapper on the same JavaScript library, and one of the components is a calendar. So we've got a few set up here, and so far this is still quite manual. I kind of have a backend server that has a calendar that I've added all these entries manually, but the hope is that I can automate that in the future so that I can refresh it every day and pull that in dynamically, but that will be as we go forward. And right now, as you can see, is nothing's on for today, and that's a bug that I'm gonna have to sort through at some point, because even though each of these entries is showing what we call recurring invites or recurring events, the Toast UI package is not really picking that up. So we're gonna have to fix that before we really get to bringing this out to everybody. And I certainly hope I don't have to like duplicate all these entries every week. I mean, it can be done. It's all just R code in the end, but I'd like to avoid that if possible. But what I want to do tonight is take advantage of when you are interested in somebody, like say Nick Wan, who's doing a stream as we speak. When you click on them, the Toast UI package gives you this kind of little pop-up here with just their user, with what I call the event title, the timestamp. Doesn't say what time zone, so that's something we probably need to fix. And then for the location, I just use his URL for his Twitch channel. And then you can see it does say every week on this recurrence rule snippet in the pop-up, but it doesn't replicate to the calendar. So again, that's stuff we'll have to sort out a bit. But let's face it, I want to make this more fun than a typical calendar you would get for like your day job, when you probably, like me, get hammered with meetings all the time, depending on the day. I want to make this fun. I want to make this engaging. I want to make it so that we take advantage of what R can do and integrate with other APIs, other systems, and have some real fun with this. So this is all well and good, but let's see what we can do to either spruce this pop-up a little bit or add some more that's kind of in a different section of the app where we show some really cool stuff. So that's what we're going to work on now. How far we'll get, I'm not sure, but that's why I'm doing it live. This is literally as if I was doing this day to day. You all kind of get to see my development process and we go from there. So A's Bates, hello, thank you for joining. Welcome to the stream. And if you're new here, I tend to stream. I've just started doing it somewhat regularly, but I'm a big fan of the R language and in particular Shiny apps these days. So I figured it was cool to kind of show all of you what I've been doing with learning some new skill set with Shiny and trying to build not just like cookie cutter apps, but something that's sophisticated and works with other systems. And that's what this calendar will be, even though it's on the surface just a calendar, but it's going to do a lot of cool stuff under the hood, and we'll be following along on that journey as we go. So, okay, so we got the app working on that state. Now let's start kind of prepping it for this more detailed view, and we're going to be hopping back and forth between a few things. But let's close this and stop the process. And yes, this is Visual Studio Code if you're not familiar with that. It's got a lot better support for R with some plugins and extensions, and I've been kind of learning it as I go because I think it can help me as I integrate other languages or other pipelines down the road. So we'll be using that. So the app is broken up into modules, which is a way to kind of encapsulate certain components of your application. You can make it reusable very easily in different parts of your app. For me, it's also just about the organization of everything. So we have a module for the calendar. The UI right now is extremely basic. All it is just the row of the calendar output from that Toast UI package. Now, I think the first step, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to not make this the full width, so to speak. It doesn't need to take up all that space because we want to use part of the app window for some of the cool information. So Golem comes with some nice convenience functions to define in the fluid layout the number of columns that your elements have. Right now, you get up to 12 columns in the Bootstrap kind of paradigm, but we can squish this down so that we can get some space. So I'm going to squish it down to, we'll start with 8, and then we're going to put another column next to it. We'll do that with 4 so we get our full width, and then I'm just going to, I always do these little placeholders with HTML tags. I'm going to say, more info here for a header level 2. So again, nothing fancy, just getting this. Okay, yeah, I definitely ask me questions in the chat. I want to make sure I address those, and we're all here learning. So Tommy Capri asks do you have any guide on how to set up R in VS Code? You're in luck. So part of my endeavors outside of this kind of newer effort of streaming is I am known for podcasting certain things, and I'm also a curator for a cool site called R Weekly. So I'm going to switch to my browser here, and where I'm going to show you in a recent issue, we had a great highlight, which is kind of like when we vote as curators on the top stories. It wasn't this latest issue, but it was the issue before that, I believe. Let's see. It might be the one before this, so I'm going to keep going here. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. An excellent blog post by Alberson Miranda. I believe he's a data scientist. He recently went on the same journey as setting up R with VS Code, and he's gotten lots of great tips here with how he set things up, the plugins he used, and kind of the settings and why he does it. So that is going into the chat right now. I highly recommend checking that out. He explains it very well. And I don't go into as much detail of how I set up VS Code directly in my previous live streams, although I did talk about how I set up this fancy containerized development environment with VS Code and our Studio server. That's on the Shiny Dev Series YouTube channel in the live stream section. So I'll just put a link in here. I should have a shout out command for this, but I haven't configured that yet. So that if you go to that and look at the back catalog, especially in the live stream section, you'll see me how I set up like the Docker stuff with VS Code, if that's interesting to you. But yeah, thanks for the question. Once you get everything set up, it works pretty well. I don't have everything mastered yet with terms of like debugging and snippets and all that good stuff, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. And yeah, it's fast and it's performant, and it's great to be able to pivot back and forth sometimes depending on your needs. So all right, so we got the placeholder in there. Let's just make sure the app still works. I always like to do that in case anything goes haywire. And yes, we've got the calendar here. We see that it definitely squished it a little bit, and we may play with that layout later on, but it's good enough. We're gonna make things more glitzy and respondent later. In fact, I'm sure at some point we'll change the UI toolkit from basic Shiny to something that has a cool theme to it, maybe a dashboard package, but that's all kind of like nice to haves later on. So okay, so now we got our placeholder here, or placeholder column here, nothing in it, of course, other than the header. So the next step for me is to figure out if we can grab via a click event what the user clicked on when they visit this Toast UI and they want to see something about this information. This is where we'll, oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Thank you. Gotta hit my buttons here. There we are. Sorry for that. Yeah, keep me honest about that. I sometimes forget to hit the buttons. If you're curious what I mean by hitting the buttons, that's this fancy thing right here. It's called a Stream Deck, and I've tricked it out with switching between sources in OBS Studio. So it's sometimes I get talking and I forget these things. So okay, so we've got, like I said, I want to take advantage of the user clicking on this and clicking on a particular entry. And if I can get what is in this entry, then I can start doing some cool linkages with other things. So we're gonna stop the app now, and this is the time where we're gonna explore some things. So back here, and I apologize, I still haven't figured out how to suppress a lot of these linting things like white space trailing and things, so it looks a little ugly when you see it, but I'll live with it for now. So what we have here is we have the render calendar function is showing the calendar. It's rendering it server side in the app. But a lot of these widgets, what they have is they have either proxy things, which basically means you can update the calendar client side without re-rendering the calendar. But more importantly, I'm interested to see if it exposes any inputs for me that are dealing with the click of the user in the calendar. So I don't know what that is yet, so that's why we're going to go to the docs. We're going to go to help topics by package, and we're going to look for, I'm going to try this filter button, see if this works. Toast UI. Well, that didn't quite do anything. Okay. Or maybe I have to confirm it. Huh. That should have had stuff. That's bizarre. Okay, I want to clear that filter. Get out of there. Get out of there. All right, let's see. Maybe it just didn't. that filter this stuff doesn't work. There it is, Toast UI. All right. So we've added schedules to a calendar. There are oh, here we go. Okay. Let me try to make the layout a bit better here. So this is probably what we're after. Is JavaScript custom events. So cal events. Cal is the widget object. After render scale, before create schedule, click more. Oh, this click stuff is what I want. Now, click more. I wonder if that means like the event itself. Although, let's see if they have examples here. I'm still kind of learning the ropes with native JavaScript tines with Shiny, so maybe this is a good chance for me to try stuff out here. Okay. So what they do here is they have an event. It's a parameter in the calendar call. Okay, so I'm starting to see this. Function event, event.schedule ID. Okay, so maybe we can at least start with replicating this example and seeing what, if that registers with my current calendar setup. So we'll have that. I'm gonna try and put this into, yeah, it worked. So that's another thing nice thing about VS Code is I can drag the tabs around. Kind of like RStudio Server and put them in different places. So we'll try to put that, I believe it would go in this call. So here goes nothing. We'll try this. These are cal events, click schedule, JS function event. All right, let's see. Let me fix the indentation here. Let's see if this fires up the, it'll be a boring alert, but let's see if it fires up. And Monica, hello. You just got back from a major vacation. Welcome to the stream. This is probably going to be my regular timing, which of course isn't very friendly to our very nice friends over across the pond, but my Tuesdays that I was hoping to do earlier have become really hectic, so I think I'm going to be a Wednesday nighter for now, and maybe occasionally weekends. But welcome. We're on the calendar app development. We're making progress, but we are doing some gnarly JavaScript interactions right now, and we'll see if we break things. Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, that's true. If I really wanted to be a glutton for punishment, I might do this at midnight or something. You know? Well, I'd like these to be pretty easy going, so I'll tell others on the stream too. I've been watching a heck of a lot of our streamers lately, and there are some that go pretty late. Some of them are on the West Coast. Some of them just have probably maybe more energy than I do, but yeah, late night streaming's a thing. It sure is. All right, so we gotta fix the errors here. So I think it's a prefix thing, and what I mean by prefix thing, although, let's see here. Oh, yeah, that's it. So in the package setup, I have to declare the functions I'm going to use here, and you know what? I'm getting tired of this nomenclature. We're just going to import Toast UI right off the bat. Getting tired of trying to remember all the functions, so that will take care of it from the R-Oxygen side, and let's see if that does it. I was trying to be best practice kind of thing there, but oops, I didn't stop things, did I? Okay, let's try again. Oh, okay. I didn't read the help enough. Let's go back to that for a second. This actually needs to be a pipe thing, not in the function call. Okay, well that was a goof, but you know. I was being a little dangerous there, I guess. So this should not be here. That should be somewhere else. So the question is where? I think we can do it after this. We will find out. And this is going to hopefully take that calendar object as the first argument in the pipe. And we'll find out, I guess. Let's stop this. Try again. Okay. Let's go back and see how they did it. I was not reading carefully enough. So well, yeah, that's what I did. I piped it. Cal props, cal events. What did I do wrong? All right. Cal props. Did I not close this right? Get out of there. Get out of there. Okay, yep. That's right. So, I guess we can be very verbose with this. It didn't have to be this way, but let's try it. And force that first object being the calendar object. I mean, I'm still confused why this isn't. Well, there you go. Okay. Well, I guess the pipe wasn't being the best there. Okay. So what we should see here. I didn't see anything there. Now, what click event is that supposed to fire? Strange. Click schedule. Let me see if this. Click schedule. Fire this event when click a schedule. Well, I thought that's what I was doing, right? Let's see what other click events we can look at here. Well, we may try this one instead. Maybe we just have to try a different event. And in fact, what we will do is we're gonna put a bunch of these in here and see what sticks. It's a little crude, but you know, why not? I don't know if it'll work or not, but we'll give it a shot. And then let's see if we can try this again. No, that didn't either. Now, the problem is, I don't know if this is a VS Code thing or not, because I don't think I can get a inspect element thing here. But we may, I think the key for me is even if we don't see these alerts right away, it's making sure that the click is recognized somewhere. So we're gonna have to go into the bowels of the documentation again. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. In fact, this is a great comment, Tommy Capri. This is why I do both setups here. So get ready for some magic. So I'm gonna save this out. We are going to go to our studio now. And this is the Docker RStudio server. So it even makes me do a password for it. And we're going to open that same project up here. And that should just work. Here we are. Yes, there it is. So I'm not sure if you can see on the stream, it's a little dark. Oh, you can see. it's a long story, but the way I show this in OBS, it doesn't show the pop-ups, but I definitely got something to appear here. So it's just VS Code not being nice, but I get this weird thing here. In fact, can I drag? Yeah, I can drag it to the other viewer. I'll just quickly show you this. So see this little thing I'm dragging here? That's what showed up in our studio. So you're right, that was a good catch. Just VS Code wasn't letting me see the JavaScript alert. So that's good. It means the click is working, but maybe what I can do is instead of popping up an alert, I can save this thing that it's getting from here into an object in the Shiny process and print it in the app itself. But now we know that it wasn't my fault, it's just VS Code not being nice to me about that. Okay, so good. That is what I wanted, so we'll stop it here. And then I'm gonna go back to VS Code now. This, I admit, I get geeked out about this. I can switch IDEs on the fly. That's all those hours were worth it. It took a while to set all that up. So now, what would be nice is if these calendar objects exposed an input based on that click, and I don't know if they do. So let's go back to the docs here. We're going to look at this together and see if we can create an interactive calendar. They might have some things here. The things I'm going to look at here is, yeah, display a pop-up when they click information. We do want that. Use an explicit element ID for the widget. I'm not sure if that's necessary. You can... Well, that's interesting. Detail pop-up is activating. Click on the schedule. Yeah, that's what we have. But you notice what they're doing here is they are saying Cal schedules, which might be a way in that pop-up to do the custom stuff. So I'm intrigued by this. It'd be a cool way to make this work with the native pop-up here. Now that is interesting. Let's give this a whirl. This looks like something I can pipe into all this stuff. We'll keep the events in there just for fun, but let's have some fun here. Oh, the indentation again. All right. Let's give this a whirl. I'm just curious what will happen here because I'm contemplating how to present all this, and you know, let's try out a few things. What? Okay, do render tags. Now, where did that function come from? Let's go back here. HTML tools. Okay, well, let's just... I think that's the only custom thing I have to do. I'm just curious if this actually works. Okay. No, that didn't do anything. Oh, wait a minute. Oh. It applied it to that custom entry it made, so... Okay, so it's tied to a specific calendar entry. It's not like it's applied globally. That's... yeah, okay, maybe that's something we we play with later. It was just worth a try. I'm not optimistic about getting that input binding natively in Toast UI, but what we can do is we're gonna go to the docs for this package, and we'll see if we can find a couple things in the docs, and if we don't find it there, we're gonna dive into some code here. So we're gonna look at the reference, and let's see if there's, this is what we were looking at, the cal events. Cal week options, calendar output. I wonder what calendar properties is about. So that's not very helpful. Just making sure calendar proxy. It would be nice to see some examples of how to use it. Okay. Not seeing much here. Maybe we can look at proxy options. No. Nothing there. I'm a little perturbed that I don't think I can grab that metadata very well without a lot of finagling here. But this event schedule ID, I wonder if I can find, I was looking back at the JavaScript thing for a second, but is there any way I can, so I've looked at the Toast UI, this is the upstream JavaScript widget that this R package is wrapping here. And I kind of want to see if I can get to these custom events. Well, wait a minute, there's like nothing here. That's a little bizarre. Let me look at examples here. Weekly, nope. Template for pop-up. Yeah, that's kind of what I want, I guess. I'm definitely out of my element right now, but I'm trying to see if scheduled out location. Oh, okay, well, I'm getting somewhere here. These kind of things. Yeah, okay, this is actually helpful. So what I want is, this might be just this glimpse into what that schedule object has in terms of data. So we have location, attendee, state, recurrence rule, and body. I think what I'll do is we'll go back to I'll go back to VS Code for a second. I want to try putting these things in here. If I can just, instead of ID, there was a bunch of these, so I'm just gonna make a note here of all the different ones before I go much further. Schedule elements. Grab. So the first one I saw in that doc was location. You could also get recurrence rule. I think I also saw body. I'm sure there's something about like the title, what that would be called. I'm not quite sure. Let's see if there's any custom stuff. Schedule title. Yep, there is something. Okay, so I can get title as well. So, okay, so the key is, can I grab these things somehow and put them into the Shiny process? Now, I wonder if this is a case for going to a very promising new book that's about to come out in the kind of shiny book space. And that is by previous guest on the Shiny Developers series, David Grandjean. He is actually the author, the architect of the R Interface project. Very cool project to check out. We'll have his packages like VS4 Dash, Shiny Dashboard Plus, and a few others. And he's been writing this book of kind of discovering how to make your apps look fantastic, but also enhance the user experience. And one of those things is, of course, unleashing interactivity with JavaScript. So this might be what I need. So we're going to do a little reading here. I might get quiet here for a bit, but I'm going to peruse this a little bit to try and get to a good state where I don't need to set up JavaScript. I just want to get it with the input system. Input bindings. This is kind of what I want to make for this Toast UI stuff, is an input binding. Where we click something, like getting some kind of click event for that. Let me get to the sidebar here so I can scroll. So this events, this is kind of like what I want to get. Yeah, this is kind of like what I want to see is what was the last changed input in a Shiny app. And that's where, if there is an input existing for this Toast UI widget, we could probably get it to show up somewhere. So we want Shiny input changed. And what David does here is he logs it to the JavaScript console, and then he serves it up afterwards. Or he doesn't serve it up, but he just kind of shows what happens when you have a text input and you update it, and then it's setting it to a specific value. I kind of want to see if there's a way to oh, this is interesting. Shiny logs. Ooh. By the same people that make the Toast UI package. They have a way to kind of show in the app itself what was last changed. Okay, well, I'm digging that. Let's throw that on. Shiny logs, just to play with this a bit. So let me move this to the bottom. Get out of this. We're going to install this. So the packages are managed by that renv kind of wrapper package. That's kind of like what Python virtual environments are, if you're familiar with that. And I use that to encapsulate the package versions that I'm using in this app. But I don't have Shiny logs, so I'm just going to throw that on right now. Well, that's strange. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's some fishy stuff happening. Oh, I know. I'm not using RM for this. What am I doing? This is the one app I don't use RM for. Sorry for that. Yeah, we'll just throw it on here. I'll update the Docker file with this in a little bit, but we'll get this on here first. And these are binary versions of packages, so this should be really fast once they download. But boy, it looks like it depends on a lot of stuff. Maybe the database stuff. But there you go. All these are installing fairly quickly, although anything with RCPP does take a little bit for reasons. But not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay, we got it. All right. Now, to be safe, we will probably have to restart the R process, but we're gonna use this placeholder thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to show the Visual Studio Code again. Ah. So you didn't miss much. I just installed Shiny Logs with installed app packages, and there we go. So now we're gonna import that. First, we will probably declare that. Use package, Shiny Logs. Okay, so we got it in the description file, and now we're gonna import that. And I'm gonna basically replicate that example that we just saw on the website from David's book, and we're gonna put that here. We're gonna do a verbatim text output. Let's say that's changed. And then we're gonna update it on the server side. Order doesn't really matter here, even though technically you might think it should go after the calendar stuff, but not really. Shiny's usually smart enough to only look at this when it needs to. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm literally just copying the example from David's book. And we'll see what happens if we have anything decent here to show. Okay. So let's restart R. Get our trusty palette here. Create our terminal. Tan, hello, welcome. Glad you can make it. We're diving into some gnarly JavaScript stuff with the Shiny app, and with a click event. And right now I'm trying to see if the authors of that calendar package I'm using, the Shiny version of it, if they've made an input binding to a click event already, or if I have to build it myself. And I'm going to use the Shiny Logs package to verify it. So let's find out if it works. I'm going to run the app. Okay. So what we see here is in this placeholder box, this should show us if any inputs change. And you notice that's a big fat load of nothing, which leads me to believe that we don't have a nice input binding already set up for the click on these entries. So, can't say I'm surprised, but at least now we know. Although maybe to make sure I didn't screw up this, the best way to test that would be to add a silly input somewhere just to verify. I'm gonna add text input here. All right, we'll just put that there. Okay, this will tell us for sure if I really messed up or not. Yeah, I probably will try that debugging technique as we go forward. In fact, we'll probably have to. Oh yeah, so I did screw something up here. It's not detecting that kind of thing. Oh, there's a thing I have to set up apparently in Shiny Logs that I didn't copy over. That might be why. Well, wait, I'll put that up here. It's in the server function. Oh, it's in the server function. Oh, lovely. Okay. I gotta open up app server here. David had put it in this part. Yeah, so we'll see. See if that does a trick. I don't want that pop up every time I do this, but let's try again. Ah, there we go. Okay, we're getting stuff now. In the console, ironically, it didn't show up here, but that's okay. We're getting something here. Now, Well, what I want to do, Tan, is that when they click... Oh, that doesn't show anything new. It just shows the same text input. What I wanted to do is, in these entries that Toast UI is showing here, what I want to do is when the user clicks on one of these entries, I want to show some cool stuff on the right here based on the user ID of the entry. So in this case, this would be Jesse's entry. If I have like metadata on this entry, I could then use this in like that Twitch API that Coder Cal's been working on and query Twitch for this user and bring in the cool metadata that's associated with their stream account, basically. So we have a couple options here. I was kind of hoping I could have it as like a nice section next to the calendar, but apparently there are ways of beefing up these alerts, not pop-ups, but like, yeah, these pop-ups that occur from the JavaScript side, but editing this was proving to be a bit of a challenge. So I was hoping I could just grab the info I need and dump that cool stuff here. And we know that there is something happening under the hood. But what we discovered before you joined was, we go back here for a second, there are definitely things in that event object in the JavaScript side of things based on that schedule that seem to be printing when we do like a little alert in JavaScript, which doesn't show up in VS Code. It did show up in our studio when I ran it there. But these are some additional metadata. Like we get the title or some other cool things here, like even the location. Then we could grab that and put it in the rest of the app. Right now I'm trying to figure out how to grab that so that Shiny is aware of it instead of like just these alerts here. And that's where I was thinking, do I need to do some custom input binding thing like some of the other HTML widgets I use a lot, like even DT, for example. When you click a row in DT, you get that input object that they've already set up of like the row selected and all that good stuff. I kind of want that same thing here for the calendar. And I am very new to connecting these input bindings and more kind of piecemeal. I've been relying on the packages to do it for me, but I know, like I said, DT does it, Reactable does it, Viz Network does it. There's quite a few that do it. Plotly, of course, would do it. I just want to start with something simple. So I feel like I just need to find the right thing to follow to get me started on this, and that's where I was perusing David Granjon's outstanding Shiny UI, and I want to develop like I kind of want to be like I'm in the mode of developing a custom input widget, only we have the JavaScript UI already done. It's just more, how do I get the server-side input with it? So I've been looking at what these things do, and I know I'm kind of scribbling through this, but I kind of want to see what he does here, and there's a way I can do this without having to update the actual Toast UI package itself. So this is just some button things they're doing here. I'm not seeing a whole lot in terms of the JavaScript side yet. Maybe I'm scrolling too fast here. I just kind of want to see if I see any input bindings here. Oh, so there's some callbacks here. Okay, there's some interesting stuff here. So this kind of, there's some JavaScript thingies here. Why? Yeah, maybe I go back to this last event here. Shiny input change, but the key is I want to get that input to show up. So maybe the best way to see this is, let's look at an example. Let's look at the DT package and see if we can reverse engineer how eWay did it. This. Let's see. Where would it be exactly? It's probably going to be in the JavaScript stuff. So what I want to do, I'll zoom in a little bit here. I want to see if there's any like keywords for shiny here. Clear previous input. So this is helpful. Shiny mode, shiny mode. Let's kind of see if there's any obvious things here. That's a little over my head right now. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Set input value, shiny.set input value, ID value ops. That's kind of the stuff I'm looking for, I think, if I can figure out how to set this from the JavaScript side and then get Shiny aware of it. Whoops, what did I do there? I have no idea. Maybe I'm starting this a little too complicated. Maybe I need to go to the official docs in Shiny, and they have an article about I'm gonna search for custom here. Oh, there we are. Custom input bindings. This is the journey we're on. Okay, so they have function input ID. Tag. Oh, that's just the boilerplate. But this is... That's what I want. Shiny input bindings register. And then the R part would be invoke. Okay, I have to implement it. And there's new shiny binding. And then we've got to do some callback stuff. Ooh, Nelly, this is not for the faint of heart. I know to be really proficient in where I want to go in the future, I need to be more comfortable with this. Oh, I wish I could just have like David Grandin's like JavaScript skills for like one day, and I could be like when Neo in the Matrix plugs in and gets all that data in the movies. I wish I could have that. Oh yeah, let's take a look at that, Tan. Thanks for sharing. I may have skimmed that earlier and I just didn't look at it carefully. Okay, let's take a look here. Yeah, let's look at input bindings. I know that's just a slider. Yeah, so he does shiny bind all. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Yeah. Kung Fu is one thing, JavaScript bindings are another, huh? Okay, so we're finding the input. Let's accept any query selector. Okay. I wonder if I'm Yeah, shiny dot set input value. Yeah, you're right. I definitely do. The question is, where do I do it? I mean, I know I have to do it in JavaScript, but like which part? Whoa, hello everybody. I'm from Nixa Stream. Thanks for the raid. Always appreciated. And by the way, yeah, I was telling in Nick's stream when I tuned in earlier. Awesome night of Slice last night. Probably one of the best episodes I've ever seen. It was engaging from the end. And welcome. We're diving into the bowels of JavaScript and Shiny right now because we're trying to supercharge some events in the calendar app. And I'm trying to learn some cool stuff that is definitely over my head at the moment, but we're just learning for now. So hello all that have joined. Hello Craig. Like I said, mad respect last night for going as far as you did. Definitely inspiring me to maybe do a application for next season of Slice. That would be kind of like one of those R bucket list items I want to check off because it's just so much fun to watch. Yeah, I was actually I told maybe in a couple of streams ago, I was going through the example like application like for this season, and I got about halfway there, but my model prediction was horrific, and I was like, I'm too embarrassed to actually put it out there. I got kind of far, but I was like, I know I'm screwing something up, so I just didn't want to embarrass myself too much. But now I'm learning more, so I feel like if I do more practice and learn from the cool stuff you're doing and Jesse and everybody else, I'm not at D-Rob's level, but you know, one can dream. Yeah, I think I'll try for next season and see what happens. Yeah, so speaking of gnarly things, yeah, dealing with input binding. So Tan's had some good advice on setting the input value. Oh, I bet you did. Yeah, I know. I was going down to the wire of a lot of things in that stream last night, for sure. I don't know how you handled were your kids like sleeping already or something, because you didn't get an intrusion by them. That's good stuff. Okay, so I've got to figure out how to plug in this this input binding thing. So like maybe I just got to start doing stuff here. Maybe I got to start adding some things into the app to debug it. Yeah, you're right, Tan. I just need that on click, and I know I can get the click because I showed the alerts before. Yeah, you split it up, Craig. Good idea. Yeah, I've had a little monkey wrench. I'm usually the one that also does that, but I had some people on the stream knows this. A few weeks ago, had a little mishap at a local park and broke my left foot. So I've been minimizing my up and down stairs these days. So my wife's been kind enough to handle that for the short term, but I'm on the mend. I got an appointment tomorrow to get it checked out, but I'm slowly testing it out, putting some weight on it, and it's not too bad, but it still ain't right yet. When you get older, it's hard to heal the broken bones fast. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, as they say. Yeah, okay, so the click event. So I can show you, Tan. If I go back to VS Code here, I can show you what we were able to get working before. Is that Toast UI has a cal events function where you can tell it to do certain things based on the click and what kind of things it's clicking. And we verified in our studio when I ran the app that I can get little JavaScript alerts to show up when we click stuff. So like this alert, you're exactly right. Welcome Nori6. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, but the music from this, let's see if my chat command works here. Yes, I use a great site called Rainwave that streams video game remixes, which are not the real thing, of course, so I'm not going to hopefully get any DMCA takedowns. But this is what I listen to at the day job when I'm hardcore coding up R packages, machine learning pipelines, and Shiny apps. This helps me get focused because I'm a gamer at heart. And yeah, I miss those days. I spent a lot of hours on Final Fantasy, I can tell you that. Yep, so that may be it, Tan. Maybe I was, maybe I'm being too picky here. If I just try changing this up, let's do it. I like that idea. Sometimes you just need a little help from your friends to demystify certain things, and right now JavaScript is one of those like mystifying things that I'm still not quite proficient in. So let's try it. So what you're saying here is in here we want to do like shiny dot set input value. Now here I need to check something for a bit. So we do name, we need the name of it. So I guess I make up a name, right? Maybe I call it test input. And okay, value. And then what's the value though? The value would be this event dot schedule ID, I think. Oh no, I can just, no, I think I can just keep it like it. Yeah, I'm looking at the example that David had, so I feel like I've got it. You're right, Craig. Yes, I am using VS Code with a few really cool R extensions actually, and that we actually one of those that tune in, Isomore, I think, asked the same thing about how to set up Visual Studio Code with R. And I'll put this link in that I put earlier. I'll just put it in here for you, Craig. A great post that I saw a couple weeks ago as part of my R weekly curations. A data scientist went through all the steps of setting that all up. And this would be, if you want to get that same VS Code experience you get in Python, but with R, the plugins that he talks about in this post would definitely get you all the way there. So this is just what the post looks like. He talks about some cool plugins and why he likes it, but then he gets to like all the settings and everything. So it's good stuff all around. Yep. Good. Always happy to help on that. Okay, so I've got this test input here. Now I wonder if I had to do any magic to get that registered. I kind of think I don't have to, but we're gonna close out all this junk here. Hold on. What I want to try, yeah, we got a fun crowd here. Thanks all for joining. It's always fun to code with friends, as they say. So what I want to do here is we're going to change up what we show in the verbatim text output, and we're going to show that input instead. So let's comment this thing out since that didn't work anyway. Input, and then I called it test input, I believe. Or test input, no underscore. This would be amazing if this works on the first try. I doubt it, but let's give it a try here. Oh, what'd I do wrong? Oh, I may be Missing comma. Yep, always the missing commas. Always the missing commas. There, now I can see it better. Let's try that again. Now what? What did I do? Unexpected symbol? Oh, did my notation here go crazy? Oh, I don't have a closing parenthesis, do I? Yeah. What'd I do? Okay, let's trace this out. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. It is. No, it's there. Alright, what did I do wrong? Okay, so we got function event, squiggly, alert, shiny dot set input value, test input, event dot schedule ID. What's going on here? You know that works. I'm missing something obvious, I'm sure, but I gotta figure out where. Did I use the right character? Yeah, so we should be able to access it from JavaScript, that's true. Right now we're taking the shortcut first. We're trying to shoehorn it into this click event. Oh, there we go. Must have been a bad comma or something. Yeah, we didn't get anything yet. Okay, alright. So we must have to do something different here that I'm not aware of. But we probably need to register this somewhere. I feel like I'm taking too much of a leap. Oh, unbind and rebind all. Yeah, perhaps. I saw that mentioned in one of the examples here. Gotta figure out where that was. I know I saw that earlier in the examples. On click, shiny unbind all. Huh, okay. So I wonder if I have to do it here somewhere. If it goes like his example, we do it here first. This is really ugly, I apologize, but I gotta find a way to do this. Bind all. Well, I wonder if that'll do the trick. We just kind of shoehorn it into this whole thing. On input change creates the binding. Yeah, that's true. But let's see. Let's see if this brute force way works. Yeah, it's still nothing. You know, this may be the case where I have to get really gnarly with the JavaScript debugger and see what's happening under the hood, like the JavaScript developer console stuff. Now, for that, whoops, I clicked the wrong thing. This is where we're gonna pivot, because Visual Studio Code doesn't let me in these things get into some kind of JavaScript console, not that I'm aware of anyway. So this is why we have the Dockerized setup, folks. So we're going back to RStudio, and that should just have all the files I've created. There we are. We'll restart this just in case. Okay, so we'll run this again. Come on. Oh, there we go. Oh. Yeah. Okay, it's not that smart. I installed it in the other container, not this one. We'll throw that in real quick. Okay, we'll get. Oh, you mean for VS Code, Craig? Control-Alt-N with that, in our Studio server. I assume you mean VS Code. We could give that a shot and see if it works while we wait for that stuff to complete. Okay. let's see. It would be convenient if it works here because my OBS setup with our studio server is not the most optimal here. Okay, so let's try this show. Control Alt N. Not happening for now. Whoops, I didn't mean that. Oh, see, tabs at the bottom. Oh, output, I see what you mean. Okay, let's give it a shot. N. Let's see here, long. Extensions. There's gotta be a way to get that there. I was trying to right click it. Sometimes you can inspect as well. See, the weird thing, Craig, is that our plugins are kind of treating this as like a browser source. Although let's. I don't think that'll work. Yeah, that's just the yeah, that's nothing. Rats, get out of there, yeah, this isn't a JavaScript file. Okay, so Tan, let's take a look what you've done here in your projects, and we'll see if we can use that here. Go back to the. Okay, let's see what you got here. So you've got an action button, on click, shiny island, put change. This okay, so I think what you're thinking is, let me just copy this and then we'll change it up. What you're thinking here is, let's get this out of here. Back. You're thinking here, we could try it instead of the stuff we're doing here, we could try it somewhere. Let's give that a play. Just copy this here and then we'll modify it. Scroll bar. Okay. So we may try shiny on input change. Now this assumes you already have an input called test input, but maybe it'll just work. I don't know. I'm definitely living on the edge here. Yeah, let's see. Maybe this will do something. Oh, you mean in these? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, good point. Let's follow your example to a T here. Let's escape the quotes. Yeah, and then get rid of this one. Okay, now I think we're in business. And frankly, we should just change these to single quotes. I'm just going to be real picky here. Don't do double there. Okay. Okay, so now we've really set it up like your example then. Let's give this a shot. Now I don't see anything here, but I'm wondering if I just do need yeah, let's go back to the code here, Craig. So 79, oh, that's a different thing. That's because in what we're doing here is we're setting up this calendar JavaScript kind of object called calendar from Toast UI, but then we're using the Magrider pipe to pipe this into additional functions to kind of beef it up a little bit. And then so it's defining some calendar properties here, and then we're doing this we're piping that down to calendar events function, but we have to like reference the first argument as like what's going into it. So that's just getting the calendar object here And we did verify that once I did this little line here, that we got those little alerts to show up when we did like this kind of function when the user clicks on things. So we did get that to work. So we know we're getting somewhere. But it's this part that's causing the hang up here. So I feel like it's just, yeah, it's just not showing up. No, the squiggles, this is VS Code is getting mad at me, or the R extension is getting mad at me with the linter that it's running automatically. And there are ways to tweak it. I just forgot how to do it where it doesn't yell at me like this. So it's getting mad at me about lines being more than 80 characters or superfluous white spaces. So it's good, but I wish I need to just turn that off a bit. It's getting annoying to me. What I'm worried about is trying to figure out how to get this test input to register, and I wonder if it's really just the problem resides with the Toast UI package itself. That's what I'm kind of nervous about, is if they're just not going to let me do it. But then again, they let me do this kind of stuff, so they definitely expose something. But what they do, I'm not sure. So maybe what we should do is go to the Toast UI package again, and let's go to the source, if you will, and see if they have anything about those click things. So I'm going to search for the name of that function that we're using here and see what the heck they did here. So here's the JavaScript stuff. X events, click more, calendar. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on here. This is what I should have searched for before. Look what they're doing here. They're setting input values. Oh my gosh. Ah! That would have saved me about 20 minutes. This looks like it has everything I need. Okay, so what we need to do is, yeah, exactly. Now, that would have been nice if they had documented that. Documentation, people, documentation. When we're not JavaScript ninjas, we need a little help here. So that would have been, but hey, better late than never. Okay, so what we're gonna do is there's really no way I can know what these are unless I just copy these out from the docs and just put them in my code as like boilerplate. Oh, that's hilarious. That is just hilarious. I'm going to start copying them out. And actually, Monica, I do need to do a better job at the day job too. So here comes a little story time, folks. I referenced it on Twitter. I had a heck of a day today. I'm building a very complex Shiny app that interacts with different systems. And we have a lot of people working on it now. Some with what I'll call varying levels of expertise. And I had very clear instructions that anytime they had to set up new connections to a database in AWS, that they had to set up the right environment variables for it. And more importantly, if they set up the environment variables, they have to tell me that they do it, because I can't keep straight about all they're doing. And when they send me a PR and there's no mention in the PR notes that, oh, by the way, Eric, you got to add these 2 Postgres environment variables, otherwise it won't work for you. That, not happy. And then we're having a code freeze tomorrow, so it's like, okay, I gotta get this in there, and I'm emailing my other person working on the project, and I'm like, well, I didn't see anything about it. So then she found out, oh wait, we were supposed to put something in, and I was like, well, they didn't put it in the PR notes. And I merged the PR eventually that I had to do to fix it. Like, I had to fix it, so I'd make my own PR. And I was a little mean, I guess, but in the PR notes, I did say, like, well, this PR is fixing what should have been in PR number 246 or whatever it was. And that was my way of venting. They should follow the docs. Anyway. First world problems. Yeah, I've had to do it a couple times, but if you don't know me well enough, you might just think I'm like any ordinary person in a DevOps kind of team, and I'm just putting matter of fact what should have been there. I didn't put emojis with it or anything, but I have this kind of like the angry face right at my fingertips, and I'm like, no, don't do that, Eric, don't do that, don't do that. Be a pro, be a pro. No, that was fine. So rant over. And merge conflicts didn't help either. I hate merge conflicts. They just drive me nuts. So yeah, Wimpy would not be happy, but Wimpy doesn't pay my bills, unfortunately. So dates was one thing. So I need to figure out where all these are. So I'm going to search for set input value in the code here. So let's search for that. Set input value. Okay, I don't think we'll want add, but I'm gonna copy it down just in case. What else do we want? How many hits do we have? We have about 10 matches. Oh boy. Schedules, we definitely want that. That's an underscore schedules. What else do we want? Click. That's the money right there, I think, is the one that's underscore click. Alright, but we'll keep going here. We'll keep going. Delete. That might be helpful later, but we won't need it tonight. What else do we need? Update. Again, will be helpful for later when we open this up for admin access, we'll call it. Dates. We got dates already. No, I don't have dates. I better write it down. Dates. What else do we have here? Yeah, dates again. Dates again. Dates again. Dates again. Add. Okay, we're back to business. So, okay, we're gonna start exploring all this. Let's go back to VS Code here. And what we're going to do is going to print all this out. And we're going to make a list of everything. So I'm always pretty verbose about these things. I'm sure. Whoops, I can't get my parentheses right. Just the doubles. Okay. So what I want is we're going to. I'm going to call this add equal input. Now what this doc said is that it's the ID, and I think in the calendar function, if I recall correctly, we need to probably explicitly set an ID. Yes, element ID. Okay, so we need to do that. Well, Castlevania action if you know your gaming well in the music there. Alright, we're just call it shinycal for that. And then this should now become shinycal, and we're gonna start doing, oh, I don't want add, I want click. Let's just do click for now. I may want more. And then I want, let's do dates as well. All right. You know what? I'm going to go a little over my allotted time because I just want to see if this part works, and we'll probably call it a night after that. But I feel like I'm on to something, so that was a cool pick-me-up that we discovered in the source code without docs. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Schedules. We'll do that. Schedule. Oh, yeah. Gotta do my shinycal. All right, let's get rid of that stuff. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if these actually are as advertised or not so advertised. Oh boy. Not a lot going on here. Yeah. Now that could be for a couple reasons though. Don't panic just yet. I bet you. No, Tan, I bet I know what it is. I bet I know what it is. We're in a module, remember? Let's see if that did it. Yep, you nailed it. Yep, same thing. I've been down this road before. We're gonna see if that works. Nope. Okay, that was a good attempt. Yeah, I'm sure the module thing is probably not helping me right now. We know they're there, but maybe what we need to do is I need to namespace with the render print. Yeah, maybe so, maybe so. But yeah, okay, how did I handle this before? I know I had to do it. Well, we have NS here. Oh, what did we do? Oh, I think I know what I did. Is instead of doing it like this, I did it like this. Maybe. Let's just do click first and see if that shows up. Maybe. We'll find out. I know I've had this happen before, but that was years ago. Oh, I did. Yeah, you're right. Parenthesis. Yep. Good catch. Good catch. Now I think we're in business. Yep. Okay. Oh. Well, we're... okay. Ignoring explicit... Oh, that's it. Okay, well, this may be the problem. I didn't realize this. Shiny doesn't use them. Well, what does it use then? So, like, what are these input bindings supposed to be? Oh boy. Yeah, why not? Let's just dump the whole input object, right? Yeah. Why not? Oh, I had a snippet from something that Joe Cheng shared with me years ago. Let me see if I can pull it up. Gotta open up another program on my computer and grab it. If it will actually show up. Okay. Show you what I'm getting a little inside preview here. What you're about to see, I'll go to the desktop view for a second. I use a program called Standard Notes. It's a great way to sync up markdown notes across different devices and have them encrypted at the same time. Actually, Monica, I think Martin had recommended this a while back, but I've been enjoying it ever since. Oh, so he would, yeah, this is what I was looking for. Reactive values to list input. Yep. So I'm keeping like all my stream setup notes and all my R stuff and everything in here in Standard Notes, so that if I go from like my streaming computer to my laptop to my phone, I can pull them up no matter what and jot something down if something comes to me in the middle of the night and I think that's what I should have put in the app, and I quickly jot it down and go back to sleep, something like that. It's called Standard Notes. I will find a link to it right now, actually. Let's just make a quick check. Yep, I will put the link in the chat. Hang on, please. Yep. Yeah, so the one thing to be aware of is that to get like the premium stuff, there is a bit of a hefty price tag for it, but what I rationalize it as is that you get those features for life, I believe. And also, this is a completely open source project. This is not made by some company. And I think it's good to fund open source, especially projects that kind of change you might say your dev life or your tech life. And Standard Notes is one of those game changers for me. So I'm happy to give them a little bit of my cash to sustain the project. It's been really helpful for me. So. Okay, so let's go back to those notes here. What I want is I want to dump the inputs as Tan recommended. Yeah, Obsidian does come up quite a bit as well. I haven't tried it yet, Tan, but I'm happy with Standard Notes for now. It is a bit of a utilitarian UI, but I don't need anything that fancy. But I can give you a little inside baseball here, so to speak, that for my R Weekly podcast, I basically write out almost my entire script in Markdown that I read in kind of that 5 to 10 minute podcast. And actually the prep for that podcast takes way longer than the recording of it. Way longer. Because I get about a day after we select the 3 stories to do my kind of research into them and give you kind of more context behind the blog post or behind whatever package it's highlighting. And it's kind of like writing a paper, to be honest. It's like writing a mini blog and then reading it and then recording it and then releasing it. So my Monday nights are usually quite hectic to get that out there by Tuesday morning. So that's what I did in the last episode. So I use Standard Notes for that. So, yep. Go back to our favorite VS Code here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to dump all those inputs. And we're just going to print that out here. We'll comment this out for now. Oh, what's the keyboard shortcut for comments in VS Code? Control slash. Okay, yeah. There we go. Oh, our bloggers. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so I used to have my podcast episodes submitted there. Something weird happened. They kind of removed my feed, I guess because I wasn't active for a while. And then I just never bothered to go back to it because, to be perfectly honest, Isomore, I actually, and I'm a little biased here, so take this with a grain of salt, but I think R Weekly is where it's at to keep up with the latest in the R community these days. This is both a hybrid of automated but manual curations of the top stories that we have, the best resources on packages, using R in the real world, doing cool stuff with media. I'm part of that, obviously. And miscellaneous tutorials. R Weekly is where I go to. This is like my Reader's Digest if you're an old timer like me. Kind of like your Reader's Digest of the cool stuff going on. And we think that the human eyes on this, it's a group of about 4 or 6 or 7 of us that rotate every week. I think it just gives that nice human touch to it, and not to say that our blog is just bad by any means, but they kind of have a different way of going about their business. We are completely open, no ads at all, no affiliations with any companies, but it's really a testament to open source, kind of the curation we do here. And I'm biased because I'm one of the curators. I've been involved for a couple of years now, but this will keep you busy for quite a while. And I certainly try to update the video section. I didn't have anything to post this week, but the next issue, you will definitely see at least one of these Shiny Dev Series recordings, perhaps an interview as well. That should be recorded on Friday with a very, very knowledgeable member of the Shiny team. So there's your teaser for recent weeks. So anyway, yeah, I'm biased, I'm sure, but our weekly is just awesome. So, all right. if we can just see what the inputs are, I might call it a night after that. We'll see. Let's, well, Tan, as usual, you are the best because here is the name of the inputs. It's the name of the module, cal UI. And all, so what, oh, wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. I need to check something. I feel like I'm, either that is the name of the module I specified. Let's see here. App server. No, it's not. I called it cal viewer UI. I'm intrigued here. Let's get rid of the fluff here. Well, at least I got a little pick me up on that. Cal UI. Cal UI? Where the heck did it get cal UI from? Oh. There it is. There it is. So, it's this. Okay. All right. So, what we want, let's comment this out. We're getting somewhere now. Took a while to get there, but now this becomes input. Whoops, what did I want to keep that. Input $ cal UI shiny click. Hold on, I gotta get the code out of there. And now we can do that same form for the others. Okay, I'm gonna have to, next time I talk to Joe, I'm gonna thank him for that snippet of code. It just saved me a boatload of time. Hold on, let me go back here and make sure I get it right. Cal UI underscore the stuff. So this should be cal UI underscore click. It should be cal UI underscore dates. And this should be cal UI underscore schedule. Schedules, yep. So I think we got clicks, dates, schedules. Let's print that out. Here we go. Oh. Commas, 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 commas. It's always the commas. Now let's see if click shows up. Okay, so click doesn't actually show up, which is odd. I may have to, we'll go back to the other output in a little bit, but let's take a look at what we got here. So we've got date current is today, June 23rd, for a little bit longer. The start and the end of the current view, that's what this is. Schedule ID. Wait. Hold on here. Oh no, I didn't click Jesse's. This should be, so schedules. Schedules is probably, this is interesting. Why did it show hers? Did I click hers earlier? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why, or is it that they, huh? Or is it showing the last one? Just trying to figure out why they're showing Jesse's entry here. Yeah, interesting. Now, why the click event's not showing, I don't know. But let's, okay, so at least we got that proved out. Let's go back to the other thing. And then we'll print the whole shebang again, and we'll see if we can get to the click event input. Find it anywhere. Okay, so we got schedules. Rev next dates. There is no click here, is there? Unless we have to click it now. Let's see if we click it now. I am not seeing any click here, are you? I am not. I just see schedule stuff. State, Rev next. Okay, well, all this, if nothing else, what I learned tonight is that unless I really want to get into the bowels of this package of Toast UI and figure out why clicks aren't going as an input, although, that's gonna bug me for a bit, but the other thing we can do is that at least we know that in the back end of these inputs we're getting something. Now the question is, what do we do with it? So maybe what I do next is let's not just explore the print version of it. Let's explore, I'm gonna do this in the browser call, but let's explore the schedules thing, and let's kind of interrogate that a bit. I'm gonna assign that Cal UI schedules, and we're just gonna see what all is in here and see if there's anything we can do with it, and then we'll probably call it a night after that. It should be in browser here. Now the one thing about VS Code, I'm not sure if Craig is still on, but it's a little finicky to debug with R right now, and I need to get better with it, but I'm not the best yet, so I have to do this kind of the brute force way. Well, that's weird, there's nothing here. Well, right, but I wanted to be able to explore this thing. Maybe I just run it now. And put it in here directly. Come on. Why don't want to let me paste? Bizarre. Some shenanigans with the... Yeah, well, we'll find out. It could be. Yeah, there's some... Okay, you're right. There's some crazy going on here. What I should do... Should follow the advice that you were doing in that debugging stream earlier, Tan. Let's wreck it. That will get us in there. Okay, let's give that a shot. Yep, now we're here. So oh, that's still doing that weird thing. Maybe. Well, okay. It's not my ideal. I think it's because render print is a major pain in the rear to do in a browser setting because it kind of hides everything. Not too thrilled about that, but okay. Of course, you know what the real brute force way is. So we save this as an RDS file. Now I do have I think I have a directory that I've set up here for, did I call it prototyping yet? Oh, I don't have it yet. Alright, well let's do that. Let's get to I can type here. Then I'll just open up an R after that. Okay. Yeah, that should be good enough. Let's go back to R. Get out of this. Okay, let's see if that threw it in there. Yep, we got it. Okay, so let's get out of this. Let's read it in here. Got it. Let's view it. Okay. So now the question is, why did it default to the last entry? But maybe that's just a story for another day. But the good news is that it does have a bunch of data, so it sure would be nice to get that, get the one that I click on. But, you know, one thing at a time, I guess. We've at least got some good explorations of the under the hood of Toast UI, and then we can kind of do some stuff with this and get some of the data out. And then, like I said, the goal is to somehow have metadata of the user's ID and explore that with the Twitch UI and be able to get the metadata that way as well. So, you know what? It's pretty good. I think we've made some good progress here. What I'm thinking of is next week might be a bit of a departure. I've got that use R talk coming up about the kind of using open source media tools like OBS Studio for producing content about R. But there's no way I can fit in everything in 20 minutes, especially about OBS. So what I'm thinking is next week might be the first of what will probably be 2 or 3 deep dives into my OBS setup. Am I nervous about it? You better believe it, because I've seen how hard it was for others to do it, especially those that I've watched, but I'm getting a lot of questions about it, and I want to be able to have something that my talk can reference to if they want more information. So that will probably be for next time. I may or may not do some stuff with the calendar before then, but at least now I've seen some things that are exposed, and I think it's going to help with making this a little more robust in the future. So I've probably got a mess of things I've changed here. Yeah, I've got a few things here. In fact, let's be a good steward here. Let's clean up stuff before we go too much further. I'd like to make sure I don't leave things in a, you know, an interesting state. So actually, I'm not gonna do that shiny log stuff, so I'm actually not gonna care about putting that here. But we'll probably do some other stuff next time with some other packages, but I think we can just commit this. I want to compile the README doc again because I changed the README a little bit, but there's no like, forget it. We'll do that later. Okay, I think I have blabbed long enough. I've had some good explorations, but again, as always, thank you all for joining. And Tan, you definitely saved the day on a few of those explorations because I was starting to get a little bit lost in the JavaScript world there, but I'm definitely going to be learning in the future. I just trying to learn it quickly is not my forte, if you will. So certainly thanks everybody for joining. I'm still not quite used to sending people to different raids. I'll probably try that next time. I'll do some homework on that. But certainly appreciate the raid I did get from Nick. That was very kind. And yeah, in terms of what's coming up for me next, probably next week will be the start of the OBS tutorial for our users, and hopefully I can do some progress with the calendar in between those points. So I'm sure I'll see some of you on future streams, and until then, you all have a great night. Get some good rest. I know I need some good rest, and we'll see you next week or perhaps sooner. So take care. Bye for now. Thanks for joining.